So let me tell you what's coming up in the next half hour. We're going to be looking at the future of outdoor media, and apparently outdoor media is not called outdoor media at all. It's called out of home. So when you talk about outdoor media, that is what you're talking about, out of home, and so it's just been rebranded. And we're going to be chatting to Barry Sayer, and he's got some really, really interesting information to share with us a little bit later on. And then, of course, we've got heroes and zeros. And the zero nomination, I just so agree with. And we'll share it with you in about 40 minutes, 26 minutes time, roughly, or thereabouts.
Talk Radio 702 ad feature.
Well, here we are, and we are looking at the future of outdoor media. Barry Sayers just arrived back from the recent, is it FEPI?
Correct, Jenny.
FEPI Congress in Berlin, dealing with the future of out-of-home, and that is outside outdoor media, and the interaction between outdoor media, digital and mobile technology, which I think sounds interesting. He's just completed his tenure as president of the Global Outdoor Advertising Association and is in the studio with us to chat about some of the huge innovations. So the innovations, I mean, there's so much talk today about the convergence of media, how it's coming together, and what does this mean in practical terms?
Well, convergence is, I think, Jenny, is from your experience in the advertising industry and in media, we used to have these silos where there's press, radio and television. Yes. And of course, we've added to the silos now where we have the internet and we have mobile phone as new media platforms. And basically, they all used to sit sort of in their silos. Now there's a tremendous emerging of different media. By example, you can now view your newspaper article on video. Yes. Broadcast through the internet and watch it on your digital phone. So this is the sort of thing that's happening where media are now really pollinating with one another, and there's pretty much a blur between where those old silo definitions used to sit.
Well, I mean, everything has changed, and it seems to me that it's all changed so incredibly rapidly within the last 5 years. I think it's just been as recent as that.
It's absolutely true. And if you look at the latest news this week, where we now see that George Bezos, who owns Amazon, has just bought the famous Washington Post. I mean, that's incredible. What a turnaround for the media industry.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Amazon itself has created a whole new, it was the forefront of shopping on the internet and making it dead easy and coming to your door as well. Absolutely. And everybody said there's no way it was going to work as a business model. But look at it now.
How wrong they were.
Yes.
And now you've got the CEO of Tesco's in the United Kingdom turning around and saying that the new high street is apps. And in future, all the Tesco stores will be much smaller because now it's more about sales through the internet. So very interesting how it's changed.
Yes. I wonder whether we're lagging behind a little bit in South Africa in those terms, because, to buy things, to buy clothes that are, say, in the United Kingdom or something like that, you've got to pay those import charges. It's going to take a few days to get to you. Whereas if you're in the UK, you can get it the next day,
Yeah, I think where the secret really lies is in the delivery. And in the UK, you've got these delivery systems where they'll deliver to you virtually the same day.
Yes.
And now they'll even pay a penalty if they don't deliver on time, which is just amazing. So you're seeing online shopping becoming very popular overseas. I think also, yourself, to go shopping in London and to try to get parking anywhere is absolutely impossible. So shopping is not the enjoyable experience it might be here in South Africa. You also find now in Korea, who are supposed to be the second most productive people in the world and very, very busy, that they're now doing shopping from posters in railway stations. And what's going on there is they actually have posters in the railway stations which actually reflect the shelves of a store. And they have QR codes under each item this virtual store. Yes. And you go along with your mobile phone and you now click on that QR code and you're actually ordering product that goes into your shopping basket. And by the time you get off the train at the other side of your journey, you've actually got the goods delivered to your front door.
You're kidding me.
So that's just amazing and so convenient for people. So that's how we're changing.
How does that affect out of home, how does that affect our outdoor space?
Well, the outdoor space, as we know traditionally, has been posters, and it's been a static medium. It's been a low-cost medium. It's been a high-impact medium, and I still love to see big 36 square meter billboards that display things like the new Jaguar F-Type. It looks beautiful being advertised on the side of the Nickel Highway. But you've also got a situation where getting that advertising message to the billboard poster has traditionally been relatively slow, because you've got to print the poster and then you've got to go and flight the poster with bill posters, etc. But today, in the new digital age, where you're able to have electronic billboards, you can now literally from our head office wirelessly connect with a digital billboard and get your message down immediately. So what used to be the slowest medium has now become the fastest medium. And testimony to that was when Barack Obama was elected as the president of the United States. When the Los Angeles Times broke with a story, they broke with a story on digital billboards with a message sent down the internet from a laptop. And that's how they announced Obama was the president and beat television to the news break. So that's how the medium is changing. It's changing because technology is allowing the medium to change.
But how does that affect posters? I mean, I was just driving up 7th Avenue the other day, and to my absolute delight, I saw illegal sort of posts across some of the posters themselves, because obviously they didn't have the permission to be up there. And I love that, because I love citizen sort of activity.
Yeah.
But those are very old-fashioned. You're not saying that those sort of posters are going to go electronic, or are you?
They are. In fact, they're on very big structures. They're going electronic today. And the very posters I'm talking about that broke the Obama story, those were bigger than 36 square meters. And if you see in the East today, you see whole sides of buildings are now decorated with digital billboards. And those are all electronic. They're all receiving their messages or their content wirelessly. And it's a very immediate and very vibrant medium.
How does this affect the man in the street? I mean, if you drive in or out of town, you see, the sides of buildings that, they've got great big posters on, I suppose, for want of a better word.
Yes.
And I suppose one or two of them are digital. I haven't noticed in particular, but certainly in terms of size, they just smack you in the face, don't they?
Yes, I would say in South Africa, we've come through a lot of stages of digital, where you'll see, for example, in the Gautrain on the escalators, you see digital signs. You see them in shopping malls on digital pods. You'll see them in our airports. You'll see them in clinics. You'll see them in bars. But the big format stuff hasn't hit the streets yet in a big way, but that is coming. But what you'll be pleased to know, that'll mean a total upgrade in the quality of the structures. And again, it'll mean that the message themselves, the content will be far more vibrant, and it'll be instant, and it'll be changing constantly. So I think that's exciting. But to your question of how it affects the man in the street, beyond the normal things where the outdoor companies pay a lot of money to the city councils, but what you will see is, well, really, if I go to the point of what the man in the street wants, they want more interactivity with outdoor advertising, because what we have today is we have a connected consumer. People are moving around and they've got mobile phones in their hands, and they are interacting with everything around them. And I think that presents a huge opportunity for us. And what we have to do now is reward the consumer with either some sort of benefit, that he can pick up a coupon by interacting with a billboard and go in and get a free coffee from somewhere, or he can get entertainment from the billboard. There's lots of activities that go on now whereby people interact with games with billboards all around Europe and the United States. And for that, they're awarded prizes that they can go into stores and they can redeem. Or alternatively, it's about information. Like if you're in an airport and there's a digital display there and it's serving up advertising, but it's also serving up the times of the flights, that's very useful for you. And you see that all around Europe today in railway stations and the like, and shopping malls, of course. So
social media and the cell phone, I mean, I'm acutely aware of how what we see on our mobiles is changing literally by the day. They've become pivotal, I guess, in communication around the world. So has the outdoor advertising industry been able to benefit from development in both those areas?
Well, we absolutely have to embrace the social media. And of course, the mobile phone is giving us the ability to now interact and get into a two-way communication with consumers through the mobile phone as the tool to access the digital billboard. And as I quoted the example earlier, which is the most simple one, and that is a campaign run in Europe whereby you would have a digital poster outside a coffee shop, and it would say to you that if you download from a QR code onto your cell phone the coupon that they were offering, you could walk into the coffee shop that was immediately adjacent to the advertising sign. You get a free donut when you bought your coffee,
Yes.
just by showing them the coupon that was actually on your cell phone. So that's a very easy example. But I think what the technology is also doing for us is, if you look at the latest fashion awards, the Burberry Fashion Awards in London, while the show was on, the show was actually connected wirelessly into Liverpool's railway station, connected into Heathrow Airport across all the digital screens live. So people were there and they were actually watching the entire live show. And then if you take that a step further, people could take photographs, they can download information, and then they virally can send that to friends. They can post it onto Facebook, whatever they want to do. So there's a whole two-way communication going on now with outdoor advertising and mobile phones as the communications network or mechanism for that all to happen.
In terms of the environment, what is the outdoor advertising industry doing to clean its act up and to get buy-in from people like me? Because when I hear that 3 trees have been cut down in order to accommodate a billboard, I'm hostile to it, and I think a lot of people are as well.
Well, I think, Jenny, we've got to admit, and you've got to accept, I think, that commerce on occasion cuts down trees. And when a new shopping center is built, it is inevitable that trees will be cut down to accommodate that shopping center. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you should go down and start hacking down trees, but there is times when we have billboards that might be sitting on council property for which we pay a lot of money. And whilst I can't disclose, contract information, I'll quote David Gleeson, referring to our company in his column just the other day in Business Day, saying how our company, he had researched, had paid over 100 million rands for its advertising rights renewal in 2011. That was the year he looked at. So there's a lot of money changing hands here. Now, if we put up a billboard and we have a contract right with the council, you expect that people would be able to see the billboard message and not have a tree in front of it. Now, that does command responsible attitude from ourselves, not just chopping down trees. And what we do try to do in instances like that is liaise with the Johannesburg Parks Department in that sort of trimming. We also have our own teams now that are under supervision, somebody to go out and ensure that we do a responsible job. I don't say that on occasion that goes wrong, and when it does go wrong, we must make amends in some way. And I think we have been criticized before, like that incident over the club here on the Nickel Highway. But at the end of the day, we're propping the roof up of the club by the amount of money we're paying to the club. There was a trimming of the trees. There was hysteria about how they would all die. Well, they didn't die. They all blossomed forth once again after their pruning. The club still gets the money from Continental Outdoor Media, and another green lung remains in our city centre without it being converted to an office block. So there is two sides to this story.
All right. Well, if you've just tuned into Talk Radio 702, we are talking to Barry Sayer, who is the CEO of Continental Outdoor Media. And I want him to tell me about the train windows in Germany. That's coming up in just a moment.
Talk Radio 702 ad feature.
All right, we'll be talking about outside, I suppose. We're talking about all sorts of things. I mean, a couple of SMSs, MTN digital billboard on the N1 before Bears Nordeer. Well, I guess I should have noticed it, but I haven't. Maybe because that's not where I normally drive. But, I'm sure if it was in your face, obviously I am going to notice it. I just want to, I've got a sheet of paper here, the future of out-of-home advertising. And it talks about what you were talking about a little bit earlier on, Barry, about the connected commuter. And you've already talked about being able to download a coupon, download a video clip if you want to. I love the thing of the Koreans, just holding up their QR codes and things like that. But printing a movie ticket, interactive information, I suppose that's plane flights, train flights, or train journeys. Transaction media, that's printing movie tickets, for instance. How does that work?
Well, I think that's the next big thing for us is transactional media. And if you look at what the Germans have been doing recently, they've actually had a advertising unit on railway stations in Germany. And what it does is you stand in front of the screen, it's got a camera, and it's got actually 3 cameras around it, and it actually films you and your feet, and then it allows you to select from a list the different styles of shoes that you would like to try out. You actually try those shoes. It shows you on the digital screen you in those shoes. You're able to then select the shoe you like, and immediately they will arrange for that shoe to be delivered to you, and there's a transaction that goes on through PayPal or whatever the equivalent is in Germany, which is absolutely amazing. So you're seeing this transaction starting. And there are other units now in the UK where they can actually print out a ticket for you. So in other words, you don't have to go to the movie house to print down your ticket. You can actually pull up on the screen in the shopping mall a layout of the cinema and choose the seats you want and print out your tickets. So more and more this is going to become the way that we transact. And we know already in Europe that if you go into so many supermarkets today, you can scan your own groceries and there's nobody there to help you. You just put in your credit card and you pay for your groceries. In airports today, we check in automatically through a pod, a unit. Well, this is what is coming to the outdoor advertising industry. It's already alive and well in Europe and will be coming to South Africa.
When?
Well, we've already got the pods here. We've got digital pods installed in the airports, in Gautrain. So we've got to now start to attach these printing systems. And of course, it's got to then liaise and work in with the cinema houses and various other people who want to offer these transactional abilities. But let me also say that here in South Africa, which I think is very advanced, if you go into some stores, like some of the mobile phone stores, a shop assistant cannot possibly know all the technological features of all the range of cell phones that are available today. But you pick up the cell phone and immediately on the screen, the digital screen, it will tell you all about that particular cell phone. So it's becoming a silent salesman, if you like. Equally in food stores today, where they can change the merchandise that they want to promote out on digital displays in the concourse of a shopping mall, right through to the shopping mall, to the store itself. And you can select, when you stand up at the counter, you can select what you want from the digital display, and immediately you get the product, and that's all recorded through their electronic systems to the till. So call that indoor advertising. We would call it out-of-home advertising, is working more and more in the store to the outside of the store, but actually assisting in the transaction as well at the till point.
Well, listen, I hope that you're as absorbed as I am. And, of course, as it comes along, it's probably going to come in a rush. But Barry Sayer, thank you very much indeed. CEO of Continental Outdoor Media. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thanks very much indeed. All right, time for our heroes and our zeros. We've got a hero nomination from Lloyd. And Lloyd says, I saw the comments on the Ad Feature Facebook page about Net Florist and the comments made about Angelina Jolie. While I wasn't as offended by Harold's comment, I do understand why it may have been a step too far. But I've been a big fan of Harold's, especially his annual ads around Valentine's Day. So I was super impressed with their latest ad. I heard about Kate and Will's new baby. Please, let's make it a hero.
#Harold News. So the Royal Munchkin has arrived. He finally decided to grace us with his presence by popping out of the most watched nether region since Paris Hilton started her own sex tape. In keeping with this crowning event, why not make all the birthdays you celebrate this month a royal occasion by sending a dozen red roses, including a free vase, for just 199 Rand from netflorist.co.za. SA's leading flower and gifting service. Order now for same-day delivery. Remember to check out our website to see what new specials pop out. #me PayPal.
Well, there you go. That is the hero nomination from Lloyd and the zero nomination from Matthew Grounds on Facebook. Recently, a huge banner-like billboard was erected in Fourways Boulevard between Short Street and Roos Street. The advert reads, "It's not where you are from, but what you do that matters. Keep on walking, South Africa, Johnny Walker." And it's also repeated apparently 3 times along its length, "Not for sale to persons under 18, drink responsibly." And why Matthew dislikes it so much. He says, first, by the sheer size of the advert, which measures about 75 meters by 4, clearly in the pursuit of marketing, sales and ultimately profit, the brand holder, the advertising agency and our city officials have no problem with promoting and allowing advertising billboards to become massively intrusive. And second, 3 small river bush willow trees have been completely cut down. The stumps of these trees now protrude about 6 centimeters above the level of the pavement. And he's really disenchanted and says, "So, Johnny Walker, I'd like to point out to you that you are correct. It does not matter where you're from. It's indeed what you do that matters, and what you've done